Final update. Stepdad favored his sons over me and banned me from family dinners, saying I am not his family, so I planned a family trip and banned them from it, and Mom finally woke up and kicked him out after divorcing him. Part 3. Jenna and I made sure Mom had a blast on her trip, and more importantly, opened her eyes to the reality of Steve's manipulation. We convinced her to cut off his access to their joint account since he was blowing her money on who knows what. When we got back, we were greeted by a mountain of beer cans, but the cherry on top was Emily, who was supposed to be working but was actually holed up in a room with her boyfriend. Mom was livid and told them to get the boyfriend out ASAP, no strangers in our home. The peace we found on our trip was shattered, and we were back to dealing with these toxic people. Ugh, they're exhausting. When Steve saw Mom, he gave her a tight hug. Mom questioned him about the empty cans and the mess he had created. He dismissed her complaints and kissed her, claiming he missed her so much. Yeah, right. Well, I know it's just her money he's missing, and sure enough, after just 15 minutes, he asked her for money. I mean, come on. Mom, being the enabler she's been, gave him some money. Ugh, I know, and he promptly left. The drama never ends with these two. The house was a mess, so I helped Mom clean up. Emily came out to lend a hand with a sad face but didn't say anything. Then Steve stumbled back in, drunk and belligerent, spewing vile nonsense at me and my mom. He had the audacity to claim my mom was inconsiderate and selfish to Emily and him. He even went so far as to say my mom was indifferent to his precious Emily and that I hated her, which is why I didn't take her on the trip. No, it's because she's not family. The emotional manipulation reached new heights. Emily broke down in tears, claiming she loved Mom more than her own mother, manipulation alert, but that Mom betrayed her and left her alone. She had the nerve to blame me for not letting them be together, but Mom saw right through it and refused to let them bully me. When they started picking on me, Mom stepped in and told them to back off or she'd throw them out. Yes, Mom. Steve, in a rage, smashed a vase on the floor. Scary, but Mom stood firm, finally free from their gaslighting and guilt trips. She threw him out and told him to leave immediately. I was so proud of Mom for finding her strength and kicking these toxic people out of our lives. She could finally see the pattern. They always played the victim and blamed me. Steve had the nerve to call her from outside, whining about disrespect and claiming he'd never forgive her. Oh, poor him. But Mom stood firm, telling him she wouldn't let them back in unless they both groveled and apologized to me for everything, including the death of my cat. Oh, did I mention my cat, Toby? Poor dude, Dad got him on my 6th birthday, and Emily was all like, I'm allergic, get rid of him. I was like, no way, I'm not giving up my cat. Steve got all salty and said I wanted Emily dead, that I had no conscience. But honestly, I knew Emily wasn't allergic, she just didn't want Toby around. Then one day, someone accidentally left the door open, and Toby got attacked by a dog. I know it was either Steve or Emily, but my mom wouldn't believe it and thought it was just an accident. But Toby never left the house, he was a chill cat, so I know that's not true. Toby got really sick and died. Mom finally woke up and saw Steve for the toxic manipulator he truly was, and I couldn't have been prouder of her for breaking free from his grasp. She was vulnerable when they met, and he swooped in like a vulture, pretending to be nice to both of us, but slowly his true colors showed: manipulative, controlling, and downright abusive. He played her like a fiddle, but she finally cut the strings. It was a long time coming, but she took back her life and kicked him to the curb. Mom could finally see the financial abuse for what it was. She told me that Steve rarely got paid, and when he did, it was never enough, but that didn't stop him from spending her money like it was going out of style. I'm still fuming that she ignored these massive red flags for so long. She threatened to cut them off from their joint account, and it's about time. No more enabling, no more financial abuse. And she was thinking of divorcing him, yes, as she should. She also gave notice to Emily to find a place for herself, as she is an adult now and should be able to take care of herself. After Mom kicked Steve to the curb, he and his daughter, with their fragile egos, refused to apologize, but honestly, we weren't surprised. Steve thinks he's some kind of alpha male. He had the nerve to call Mom and spew more venom, but little did he know he was just pushing her further towards divorce. We were cheering him on to get out of our lives forever. We thought we'd seen the last of Steve's drama, but nope. That night, we got a surprise visit from two massive guys who showed up at our door. We thought it was Steve coming to cause more trouble, but oh boy, we were wrong. They told us through the door camera that they wanted Steve to pay up the money he lost in gambling. I'm talking thousands, people. My jaw dropped like never before. Mom told them Steve no longer lived here and that she had divorced him. She gave them a nice not my problem and told them to find Steve elsewhere. I was dying to know what other skeletons Steve had in his closet. Mom's anxiety level went through the roof. She checked her phone and got another shock: Steve had emptied their entire bank account, funding his gambling addiction. We were livid and struggled to get through the night. The next morning, Mom took matters into her own hands. She sold all Steve's stuff and got half the money back. She knew Steve would come crawling back for his stuff, and sure enough, he showed up at night. But Mom was ready. She told him she'd sold all his belongings, and he unleashed a tirade of abuse, calling her a witch. But here's the kicker: when my mom told Steve she was filing for divorce, he showed no remorse, no regret, zero, zilch, nada. He's got some serious nerve. We were all shaking our heads, but my mom stood firm. She was finally taking back her life, and we were cheering her on. Mom told us that Steve's friend Richard ran an illegal gambling store in the basement of his house. Aunt Jenna knew someone in the police, and she tipped them off regarding the illegal setup. The authorities raided the hideout, but that's not all. They also found strippers on the premises. Mom was devastated, her heart broken into a million pieces. She couldn't believe Steve's involvement in such shady activities and the fact that he'd even attended strip clubs after the illegal gambling operation was shut down. Steve squandered on his addiction. Mom filed for divorce. She threw Emily out of the house after a month, despite her pleas for more time. Now, as I prepare to leave for college, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief knowing Mom is safe and supported. Aunt Jenna is there to help her heal, and Steve and Emily are out of our lives for good. The drama has finally ended, and we can start our new chapter in peace.